From the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court has granted interim bail to the MOS of home, Ajay Mishra Teni's son, Ashish Mishra Teni, in the Lakhimpur Kheri violence case. You remember, 4 farm law protesters were killed when a convoy of vehicles, including one belonging to Ajay Mishra, ran over them on October 3rd, 2021. 2 BJP workers, the driver of one of the vehicles, and a journalist were also killed in the violence that ensued. Now, you remember the Supreme Court just on Thursday had reserved its order on the bail plea. This was the bail plea filed by the accused, Ashish Mishra, in which he challenged the Allahabad High Court's order that had denied him bail. You remember the Uttar Pradesh government and the families of the victims had all also opposed the prayer. Let me just check to see if our reporter is through with us. We are still waiting for him. Till we do, let me bring you more details. Appearing for Ashish Mishra was senior advocate Mukul Rohatgi. He argued that his client has been in custody for more than a year. He referred to the status report filed by the trial court, which said that there are about 200 witnesses in the case and that the trial will take at least 5 years to complete. Rohatgi said that there are about 200 witnesses in the other FIR filed against the farmers who allegedly indulged in violence. This would mean about 400 witnesses have to be examined analogously, and he's argued that this could take between 7 to 8 years. He's argued that Mishra does have a right to a speedy trial, and he said that this is not a case of murder but a case where a crowd turned violent and killed some people. This is the argument that's been made on his behalf. Rohatgi has also argued that it was the farmers who started it all. Now, I'll bring you more context because Rohatgi has been quite detailed in all of the statements he's made. But you have had the UP Advocate General, Charan Prasad, say that all 7 witnesses in the charge sheet said they saw Mishra running away. Senior Advocate Dushyant Dave appeared for the victims' families. He referred to a 1986 judgment. He said the bail cannot be granted when the trial court and the High Court have concurrently denied any kind of relief being given. Now, my colleague Ananya is with us. Let's go over to Ananya right now for more context on this story. Ananya, the Supreme Court taking this huge decision, how should our audiences read into it?
Well, definitely, the Supreme Court has now granted interim bail to Ashish Mishra Teni into this particular case. And this is something that is very, very big that is coming out. Remember that almost 8 farmers were mocked down in that particular incident. And we saw how cross-bulging also happened. There was a cross-FIR that was also registered in this particular case. But 2 important conditions that Ashish Mishra Teni would have to actually imply with. Number one, that in fact he cannot stay either in the national capital or Uttar Pradesh. Secondly, what is very, very crucial to note is that the court has asked him to not enter the state of Uttar Pradesh unless for the trial court proceedings. This is something really, really big. He and his family members have been asked clearly to not contact any kind of a witness, any kind of a complainant in this case, or to tamper with the evidence in this particular case. This is a big judgment and big judgment coming in for, in fact, Ashish Mishra Teni. Remember that earlier Allahabad High Court had dismissed his bail application, challenging that he had knocked the doors of the Supreme Court earlier. Once he was granted bail, but the same was cancelled by the Supreme Court itself. So a lot of ping pong happened, a lot of to and fro happened, but now finally Ashish Mishra Teni has been granted bail by, in fact, a bench headed by Justice Suryakant and J.K. Maheshwari. They have also ordered that Mishra cannot stay in Uttar Pradesh. The court will hear the bail plea again on March 14. This is, remember, interim bail for the period of 8 weeks. Ashish Mishra has been directed to be released for 8 weeks. Mishra should leave the state of Uttar Pradesh within 1 week of his release. He cannot stay in the state of UP or Delhi. Mishra shall inform the court about his location and should mark his attendance to wherever he's staying, to the nearest police station where he would be staying, and the said address should also be shared with the trial court and the investigation agency. Any attempt by the family members of Mishra to influence the witness will lead to cancellation of the bail. If it is found that Mishra is trying to delay the trial, it will be a valid ground to cancel the bail. The benefit of interim bail extended to the other 4 co-accused also by using suo motu powers of the Supreme Court. So basically, the Supreme Court has also given out bail to the other 4 people in that particular case. Big relief coming in for Ashish Mishra Teni at this particular point. Remember, that this case had been a flashpoint between the Uttar Pradesh government and the opposition party. We saw how a massive ruckus had happened in the Lakhimpur Kheri district of Uttar Pradesh when this particular incident had happened. Various, in fact, versions had come out, but later it was found that it was Ashish Mishra Teni, and in fact, the UP police also in its charge sheet said that Ashish Mishra Teni is the prime accused, and it was the meeting of mind that led to this particular ruckus that happened in the state of Uttar Pradesh.
I just want to understand from you, Ananya, if you could tell our audiences, one of the arguments that the UP Additional Advocate had made when he'd been talking to a bench of Justice Suryakant and J.K. Maheshwari was that this was a grave and heinous crime. Now, you've just told us some of the conditions that the Supreme Court had set, but I just want to understand from you, did they address that claim that this was a grave and heinous crime? What did they have to say about the crime itself in their statement?
Well, definitely, the Uttar Pradesh government, while opposing the bail application filed by Ashish Mishra Teni, had clearly stated that it is a grave offense committed by him. He is influential. His father is a union minister, and that's the reason why he should not be released on bail. In fact, there were also instances given out by the Uttar Pradesh police and the complainants in this particular case, wherein it was said that Ashish Mishra Teni and his men actually attempted to, in fact, influence the witness and to harm them as well. So, however, keeping all that in mind, keeping all the arguments in place, the Supreme Court felt that it is a case where bail should be granted. This is, remember, an interim bail for a period of 8 weeks as of now. And the Supreme Court would be rejudging its order on March 14th. So we'll have to wait and watch as to whether the Supreme Court would be converting this particular interim bail into a regular bail or not, or there is something that happens in between which can lead to the cancellation of bail of Ashish Mishra Teni. Toya.
Okay, all right. Ananya, thank you so much for bringing us these details.